Summer camps are changing. Some still focus on fun and enrichment, while others are designed to build academic, career, and real-world skills. And now, with virtual options, students can learn from anywhere, making it easier for families to fit enrichment into real life. We're back with Dr. Cesare Wright, president of Kino-X and author of Anthropology, Identity, Agency, and Personhood in the Age of AI. I can't wait for the AI camp. Can I come to the AI camp if that's there? And of course, Rodney McCarius is with us as well.
Yeah.
All right, you're like anything
virtual.
Yeah, anything virtual. All right, let's talk about some of these camps. When we say virtual and the advantages of those, obviously.
Yeah, so traditionally there were sort of two models of camps. You had the residential camp, which you described, and kids go there and they stay at the camp. And then you had the day camps, typically 9 to 3. I've run a number of those. I created Rice Drone Camp when I was at Rice University, turned into Microsoft Drone Academy. These were day camps. And then I switched a lot of my programming to virtual. The reason being is with the expanded virtual experiences, you can connect what you're doing, like so the learning outcomes, the interests, the things you're doing in the camp into things you're doing in your everyday life. And so COVID really brought that out. So many people switched to remote work, remote learning, but a lot of that was done in isolation. You had your online class and then you went back to your life. But imagine a scenario where you don't have to compete between your summer camp and your Florida vacation. You take your kids to the Florida Keys, you have a virtual summer camp program that they're learning about maybe drone technology, and they take the drone with them, and they've got exercises during the day where they're flying their drone over the Florida Keys, filming their family vacation, but they're tying that back into learning outcomes in computer science, data science, artificial intelligence. And so it's all wrapped up in this cohesive experience. It's no longer camp and your vacation. The vacation becomes your camp.
And I'm just seeing the kind of the communal part of it, because you're right. If, before COVID, we would have been like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But even if it was like a little science experiment and everybody's up there together in that virtual moment, right? And you go, okay, everybody go to the pantry, get some salt and get some vinegar. All right, now come back, pour it, and everybody's doing it, right? You see it all foaming up. Okay, no, so why did it foam up? You got acetic acid, you have whatever. So I'm just saying, I'm picturing that it's still fun for them, right?
Absolutely.
And they're working with each other.
And imagine a scenario where you have, and I've had this, I've had some of my virtual events, I've had 10,000 people on a virtual event from all over the world. Now imagine you got a summer camp, you got 20 kids, some of them are in Italy, some are in Dubai, some of them are in Montana, and it's an AI camp, and you ask each of them to go out and do a scavenger hunt in their environment, wherever they're at in the world, to find all of the AI applications they can find in 30 minutes, and then they come back into a group session and discuss those. So they're getting an increased cultural awareness, they're learning engineering, they're learning civil engineering because they're looking into their environment, they're learning the technology, the
I want to go to this camp.
I know, me too. I do too.
And they're interacting with kids from around the world. One of the things we lost during COVID, I run programs in virtual engagement, teach people how to work remotely, but then I tell them don't do it. If you can get in the room with people, do that. But if you're going to do something virtual, lean into that and really take advantage of that. And so a lot of what we lost during COVID is a lot of kids lost the ability to interact with people.
Because we sat there and just listened to stuff. I listened to my son in class, and it was just, because granted they were just trying to learn how to do it, but it's one thing when you're simply listening, and a lot of kids are going to zone that out, especially when you're sitting at home, right? But to get them engaged, all right, some of your programs, RiseX.
Yeah, so RiseX is for parents, teaching, and kids, preparing them for college pathways. Again, I believe you shoot for those top 20 universities and everything else falls into place. You get the scholarships I went to Rice, my sister went to a different university. UT is one of the most amazing universities in Texas because of its network, something we didn't have at Rice. There are different benefits of every university, understanding that and then figuring out what are your strengths, weaknesses, and how can you create a narrative that's compelling to really position you for success. So we do that with RiseX. We have 3 different versions, an express version, an extended version, and then a very comprehensive extreme version that lasts for a year. So some of it's just an overview of best practices for applying to college, and then other is really guided.
Because that should be a camp. You're right. That's a purposeful camp.
Yep.
All right, MediaX.
MediaX. So I worked for about 20 years in the film industry as well, worked in media and production. So many kids right now, if you ask them, they want to be a YouTuber, they want to be an influencer. And I say, okay, that's great. Let's connect that to real world skills. So camera, audio, editing, directing, producing, understanding multi-platform live streaming. We teach all of that in that program, and we offer a version of it for adults as well, an industry-facing version. But I say, if you've got a 7th grader that wants to be an influencer, great, let's help them build a YouTube channel, and maybe they drop that and it's for fun, but they're learning transferable skills that then relate to marketing, communication. A group of my college students created the Unmuted Human Trafficking podcast and helped get legislation passed to protect kids in some of the most vulnerable areas, stadiums, schools, and they did that through a podcast. So those are very transferable skills that are also fun.
Yeah, LeadX.
Yeah, LeadX, when I was at Rice, I was in the Center for Engineering Leadership. And what you find is some of the most brilliant engineering minds never really focus on the leadership and management skills to execute a complex project to delivery. And that's what we do in LeadX. We provide an introduction to emergent technologies, AI, esports, gaming, augmented and virtual reality, put that in a leadership framework so you're learning leadership management, risk management and mitigation, systems thinking, project management, all of those skills, but also the communication skills to deal with a team and to work with other people. We compartmentalize all of that into an intensive program.
Yeah, all right, the Microsoft Epic cohorts.
Yeah, so Microsoft Epic is one of our programs. It's typically 6th through 12th grade, and we have different, more expanded versions of those programs. You can get information about all of that on our website, but that's where we go into more specific content area. So maybe you have a kid that's interested in anime, and we're looking at anime as utopian and dystopian narratives of a future through technology, and we can tie that into a particular content area that your kid's interested in, because as I said, not everybody wants to go to ninja camp like I did. So really meeting them where they're at, and I think that if you can show it, to me the huge difference between education and learning is education can be very prescriptive, can be very boring, formulaic. Everybody loves to learn. Everybody, if it's learning something that
Learn
you
is when you
want
start
to know.
repeating stuff to people of what you found out. Right?
And so that's what we try to do, is if you can connect it to their real interests. For me, I got into computer science. I learned to code and build computers because I grew up in a trailer in Cut and Shoot, Texas. I couldn't afford a computer, but I loved to play video games, particularly Bard's Tale 2. And I couldn't afford a computer, so I'd crawl around in dumpsters, find broken parts of computers. I learned coding, I learned electrical engineering, computer science. Didn't care anything about any of those things, but I wanted to play video games, and that was a means to an end.
Yeah.
So I believe that that's how you get kids, connected to those skills. That tells a really amazing story. I should have never gotten into Rice as an undergrad. I think they accepted me as a joke, like the Rodney Dangerfield movie.
They did not. They did not. This man is brilliant. This man is brilliant.
Every time he talks, I'm like, where's the movie about your life?
But I think I still believe that they just thought it would be funny to see what happens if we let this guy into college. But the reason that I got in and I did well and I took advantage of that opportunity is I realized that college is not at all like high school. I wrote one of my first papers in college on the sociocultural implications of genetic research in South Park. So I wrote a paper about South Park.
You got creative about it. All right, we are out of time, which means you have to come back. Okay, Ronnie McCary is the CEO, as we mentioned, of Crime Stoppers Houston, and you can visit crime-stoppers.org to connect with that organization. She's also the author of The Online World to help parents understand what their kids could be exposed to there. And to get your students signed up for one of Dr. Wright's tech camps, you can visit Kino-X.org. Kino spelled K-I-N-O, so Kino-X.org.